My name's Josh Pringle. Get ready to go on an intertidal adventure. Hey, we're out here at Bowditch Point on Fort Myers Beach. Today we're going to be looking at an intertidal zone. Let's go. The intertidal zone is marked by the extreme high tide mark and extreme low tide mark. This is a good example of a tidal pool. What happens is the water comes in here, washes up this narrow path right here, goes into the pool. When the low tide goes back out, the water stays in here and all sorts of marine organisms live in here. You got some little fishes, you got some birds, you got some trees, some seaweed, all sorts of grass stuff. Alright, what we have here seems to be a good example of something called desecration. Now you see here, we got a starfish who's, I think the birds have maybe eaten some of his limbs off. But what probably happened is the starfish got washed up here, dried out. The starfish dried out, it couldn't live anymore, so it just died in this dirt here. Birds came along, ate him, pulled apart his limbs. Now he's just a lifeless body. One of the ways that organisms avoid desecration is by burying themselves in the sand where the moisture is. What we have here are some coquina shells. These little guys will burrow down into the sand during low tide to keep their bodies moist. Oh my gosh, crazy fish, go! More dominant species in the intertidal zone. Don't know what type of bird this is, but it is a bird, and they are one of the main predators here. They eat just about everything. So, that's a thing. The intertidal zones in southwest Florida are rather bland and really quite boring. There wasn't a lot of marine life because it was so cold outside. Oh boy, gotta get out of here, gotta go. Oh, we also found something called the lightning whelk, which is native to southeast North America, making it an indicator species. Upon further search, we found the egg sac to the lightning whelk, which they plant into the substrate to give the egg sac time to grow and develop while it's still underwater. Little tidal pool here. In it we found some kelp, a little bit different take on some of that seagrass stuff. It's got these little berry looking things on there, little seeds. So it's just a little bit of a different take as opposed to some of this stuff. And over here, this is a mangrove shoot. So this mangrove shoot broke off the mangrove tree. It's gonna float up here with this little root system on it. It's gonna burrow down into the sand and start growing a mangrove tree. The mangrove tree, they help preserve the shore. Sometimes if they grow offshore, like if this were to float out there, it would create an island. We call those mangrove islands. Alright, here we have some of those prop roots I was telling you about earlier, the little mangroves. So these ones have established themselves and started to grow. You can see the root right there, growing up. Got a little leaf on the top. There is the mangrove shoots. We found some holes which we believe to be the homes of crabs. And although we couldn't find any crabs outside and didn't feel like going digging, there were several of the holes, 4 or 5 of them, pretty close together. There was 2 right next to each other, and then a few more just a little bit of ways. So it was probably too cold for them anyways. Alright, this just goes to show you that even the more dominant species like the bird that eats all of the little fish and the worms and the crabs, even he can get battered up from time to time. Imagine this bird probably got eaten by a raccoon or something. There's bits of it here and over there. A little bit of it down there. It's pretty messy actually. Oh my goodness. Follow me. Although we couldn't find any raccoons, we found a little black cat, probably living back in the woods. I imagine he ate one of those birds we saw. Picture of that bird soaring. Quick, get a picture of that bird soaring. Here we have a good example of starfish that hasn't been eaten yet. I do think he's desecrated though. Seems pretty dried out, pretty stiff. So, I don't know, maybe he'll come back to life later, but you never know. Here we found a big block, don't know what it is. Looks like a bunch of little barnacles. Probably just coral of some sort, but washed up on the beach here. Hashtag Intertidal Zone. Alright, here we got a horseshoe crab. I'm pretty sure he's dead, probably because of desecration. Desecration kills everything. So it's real interesting. I just showed you the horseshoe crab, and as I was looking around this little tidal pool here, where the minnows are, I've noticed that there's quite a bit of dead animals you can see in there. A little bit of starfish. There's some clams in there. Some peanut shells, and there's a starfish over there. There's a crab claw around here somewhere. So this is kind of like a gathering point for dead animals. The dead bodies just washing here for the birds and the raccoons to come eat. We found some well-preserved raccoon tracks in the sand. Raccoons come out at night because they're nocturnal, and they dig around in the sand in the intertidal zone and get food from it. They love to eat starfish. Then when the tide comes in, the raccoons can't stay in the intertidal zone because it gets too wet for them. So they'll take refuge back over in their homes in the mangroves over here. And they'll go back there and eat their dinners and feed the raccoon babies and seek refuge there until low tide. Alright, so believe it or not, this is part of the intertidal zone. These mangroves are. And you can't see it, but the beach is right on the other side of these mangroves here. And all sorts of fish come up and live in the mangroves and spawn. And then when the younglings are ready to spread their wings, they leave the nest. One of the most detrimental organisms in the intertidal zone is known as the tourists. They come in, completely destroy the ecosystem, ruin everything, and then just leave, all for the sake of money. Alright, this has been Josh Pringle reporting to you from the beach. Hope you enjoyed our intertidal adventure, and until next time, keep exploring.